Hey everybody on YouTube. This is going to be video number 1 in my series. It's only going to be 2 about how I made my curriculum. Um, I am by no means an old pro. I can't say that, oh, this is the best way or this is definitely going to work for you. It's only going to be a year for us in November. So we're just shy of a year of homeschooling. I ended up making 2 curriculum for this year curricula for this year because as the summer was going through, I couldn't find um, a science curriculum and a history curriculum. And I was having a lot of trouble, so I thought, well, I'll just make one. So I'm just going to show you how I did it. I'm going to start with the science one right now, and then I'll do the next video on our history curriculum. And we're using the history right now. We're going to start using the science one next week. We just finished our series on planets. And so we'll be going into our new curriculum this coming up week, so tomorrow. And you saw that I did a first impressions on Christian Kids Explore Biology, and we will be using that when it gets to the life science portion of our curriculum. We'll start using the biology, because once we get to life science, it's life science from then on out, or biology from then on out. Okay. Okay, so the things you're going to need, well, first of all, you need to decide what it is you want to cover in your curriculum. So that really needs to be first and foremost. What is it you want to cover? What are your learning goals? For me, I decided to go from from small to big. So I started off first off in my curriculum with what is a scientist, because that's usually what you start off with when you're doing a science curriculum. That's what I always remember, and that's usually when you pick up a curriculum for science, it's usually what they start with. And so I did what is a scientist, and then I started with not only what is a scientist, but the scientific method and all that stuff too. And then I started with atoms and molecules, and then we went from there to chemicals, and then we went from like from chemicals to light. So we did a little bit of chemistry in there. So not just chemicals, but also metals and crystals and stuff. And then we went to cells and bacteria and plant cells, and eventually work up to humans. And so that's my kind of theme for our science curriculum this year. It's just from small to big, and it's mostly biology. And so that was my learning goals, and the kind of direction I wanted to go with the curriculum. So that's what you needed to decide first off. Next, when you are going to put it together, like the physical hardware things that you need is, first off, you need a big, if you're going to do my method or do what I did. So don't want to drop things out of here. My folder is full of stuff that's like falling. Okay. A big 3-ring binder. I think this is 1.5 inches science on it. So you need that. You also need a notepad with a good amount of space on it to write. And I'm looking off of a list. That's why I'm looking down. You need a highlighter, a hole puncher, placeholders, and what I mean is these little tabs here that you one day I'll get a good camera. Okay, can you see? Wait, okay, see the little color tabs that you use to separate page separators. I think that's what they're called. Placeholders, page separators. Let's see. A website or a series of websites that has the information that you need in printer-friendly form, and a workbook that you can work. So those two things, the website and/or websites, and the workbook, are going to kind of be your spine, and they should work together. So they should have similar vocabulary and things like that. So what I did from there was I took the website that I use, which what I use is was Ducksters.com, and I went to the science section and I just started finding the stuff that I needed. So I started with what is a scientist and the scientific method. Sorry about that, my computer wanted to go to sleep. Okay, so I started with what is a scientist and the scientific method. And I'm just going to take this out of the folder, so hopefully it'll be easier for you to see. But, okay, so the beginning, what I printed off is a couple pages. The first 2 pages here are from Dexter's, and it is scientific method. And you take a highlighter and you highlight the things that you really want to hammer home. The things that go with the learning goals that you have for this section. And this is what I printed out, and these are like the fun facts about scientific method and different dates and stuff. Then you take the workbook that you picked out, and I picked out Spectrum Science Grade 3, and I take whatever pages in that book that correlate to what I'm wanting to do, that correlate with the information I got from Dexter's, and I place it in the same space with the printout. So now I've got the first bit of information from Dexter's. I got my intro here, and then I've got now a reading section and a worksheet. So, and this has the same vocabulary that that was on the Dexter's website. And if you're doing scientific method and stuff, they're usually going to have the same vocabulary no matter where you go. So that's the first section. Once you have that section together, read over it and then decide what you want for your learning goals. So after I put everything together, I got all of the information from the website. For each section, once I get all the information from the website that I want, and I find the worksheets in the workbook that I want, I read it, and then I decide, okay, what do I want my students to really take away from this? What do I want to focus on the most? And then I write that, my learning goal, on my notepad, and then I hole punch it, and you can see. I hole punch it and I put it in the front of the chapter. I've got 3 worksheet activities from my Spectrum book in here, and then once I finish that part, I also will put an activity at the end, and I usually write that down as well. And for some things, I have multiple notes on, and I'll just hole punch that and stick it, right in that section if I need a reminder for something, or if there's special ingredients for an experiment or something that I need to get. And you can also add more to this, if you want to put like the shopping list for each experiment that you want to do or each activity you want to do, that can also go in the front part of the chapter, or whenever we get to the activity part or the experiment part, I have any type of special instructions that I need there. So, like once we got done with that part, I've got an experiment note right there. So, and usually whatever website you got the information from will a lot of times have an experiment for you, but they're usually pretty easy to find. We're working with elementary and middle school level science, and it's usually pretty easy to find activities to do. So that's what I do for each section. I match the information from the website with a worksheet, or series of worksheets, whatever I have in my workbook that will correlate with it. And then I put my learning goals after I've reviewed the chapter in the front, and I make sure I highlight those learning goals in the section. And then once we get to the end of the section, or at whatever point in the section I want to start the experiment, I mark that with with my notebook page and put what experiment we're going to be doing. And then once I finished a section, I separate it with one of these little babies with a tab, and then that section is done. And once you find the information that you want, it doesn't take very much time to put it together once you find what it is that you need. Let's see, the only down part is, yeah, and I also put like any type of, what do you call it, diagrams and stuff also go in the section as part. So once you find all of it and you put it together, it takes almost no time at all. The only down part is, you do have to do a lot of printing out. And that's kind of the only down part. But I had a pretty good capacity printer when I was doing this. It wasn't my printer, but it held a lot of ink, and it was kind of like an industrial grade one that I was using. So it wasn't that bad. And then what I did was I took the rest of the Spectrum science book and I just put it in the back. That way, if I need to add to the curriculum, if we're getting done faster than I thought we would, I can always take something, find something else, or pull from there, any other pages that I think may be helpful. So by the end, and I'll just show you the finished product. Yeah, so by the end, you have a nice, semi-neat curriculum with sections. It's really bright. Sorry. And then you can have, you're pretty set for the time. Like I said, this is, I'm sure not by far not the best. Again, I'm not a pro, but this is just what I did, and this is what's, at least it's working for now for history. So I haven't started on the science one yet. But I'll show you my history one next. Now I did it's only slightly different, but for the most part, it's a lot of this is a little bit different because the activities are different and the source is different. But yeah, so have any of you made a curriculum before? Did you do something similar to this, or did you do something different? I saw Mahogany Homemaker's the way that she made her unit study, and I saw some similarities there, so that was really interesting, and I think it's something that I'm probably going to try too. So maybe that'll be the next project that we try. So is it, is this something that you guys do for just unit studies, like kind of, what I did, or is, does it look anything like something that you do? So yeah, share if I'm rambling now. So yeah, so I'm gonna get off. So yeah, so share any tips maybe that you guys do if you do something totally different. Right now this is pretty much working for us, and I left it pretty open-ended, like there's no definite end and our that I planned for this curriculum, but I left it so that I can add as much as I need to, but I don't foresee. I think we have more than enough material. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.